Good afternoon from a very sunny Dorset. We are very lucky. It's mid-October, nearly mid-October. We've been working on this 2025 Mercedes Adria Coral Supreme. It's the 670DL. It's been into us for a week to have quite a few bits and pieces fitted, but this particular video is about the 360 HD camera system. Now this is our signature 360 high definition camera system. Basically consists of 4 high definition full HD cameras that are 180 degrees wide. The system is connected, I had to think then, the system is connected to a 1 terabyte hard drive that's a little computer drive hidden away down nearby the leisure batteries, and we are then able to view and display it on a 10-inch HD monitor. So that's connected with an HDMI lead for really nice crystal clear viewing. Now the reason why I'm gone into such detail is because even though we've done loads of videos on our YouTube channel of the 360, we do get a lot of people asking, saying, look, can you give us a bit more detail? Because, you know, this is a lot of money's worth of kit. And we appreciate that you work on all sorts of ages and makes and models of vehicles. But if you can give us some more specifics about exactly where our money's going, then that would really help. Because of course, you already know who we are. You know the quality of the work we do, you know how much care and effort and thought we put into every installation, but when you're going to go and leave your pride and joy down with us, whether you've spent 50 grand or 350 grand on your motorhome, you want to know that the work is being done thoughtfully and with respect. Well, you don't need to worry, because this is who we are and what we do. If you have watched any of our videos before, and if you haven't, then you need to, but if you have, then you do need to have a little look about the team behind the name, where we are down here in Dorset, but most importantly, what actually gives us our kicks, and that is doing a nice installation every single day, handing over to our customers and putting a smile on their face, so at the end of it they are more than happy to pay the remaining balance and drive away happy customers. We start with the most important camera. First of 4, the one at the front is the lowest. It has to be the lowest because of the shape of the vehicle and everything else. Now the one here, Richard has made a custom bracket. He has filed it, cut it, sanded it, painted it and shaped it to really nice, really fit the contour of the camera and the shape of the body, which is really nice. This has then been bolted to the plastic of the bumper or the plastic of the grille, depending on the vehicle, using stainless steel bolts. And then the cabling is then routed through the engine bay in plastic Copex tubing to then stop any heat issues, and that runs through into the vehicle and where we're going to fit the drive. Next camera's on the driver's side, down the side, so join me for that one. Okay, so camera 2. Nice high perspective for the camera because it's doing a really important job seeing down the sides of the vehicle, and it's as centrally as we can possibly fit it within reason. Generally on the motorhomes, you've always got the fridge freezer fitted in the middle, and we've got access to the vents, which makes the job, or for this camera, a little tiny bit easier for us to come in, run our cabling down through into the vehicle or along into the main drive itself. Now, follow me on to the back camera, or the rear camera. So the rear camera is probably the second hardest to do, mainly because there's always a factory fitted camera, or most of the motorhomes we work on, there's a factory fitted camera. We then can't fit the camera any higher because on the screen you're going to get in the way of this. We also have to make sure that this is then going to be able to do its job. Now, this is one of those motorhomes that curves in like that. So really, that camera really needs to be on the outermost part of the vehicle, but actually the camera is up here. So the camera has to then cater for this little angle at the back of the vehicle. Doesn't really matter, that's what the software does, and that's why when you come down to see us, once all the cameras are in and fitted, we then sit down with the drawing and the software and make it all work beautifully. So that's the third camera, and again, cabling is in, dropped down through and along the bottom, or it's dropped through into the vehicle itself and along through the hatches. Now, the fourth camera. So, fourth camera. Again, basically a mirror of the other side. They're not always absolutely spot on, because I think this camera, coincidentally, is actually about 200 mil, 20 centimeters further back than the other camera, but that's just because of access and where we need to be. It doesn't really matter too much because, again, as I said to you a few seconds ago, it's the software that does all the hard work. So once we've fitted the cameras, we've run all the cabling in down through to the drive, which is where I'm about to show you. Now, the joy of the weather today, and also because we've got this beautifully large daylight hatch above us, which is quite modern now on these, well, quite common now on these modern vehicles, is natural daylight is a must, especially if we're using it in the UK, because there are seasons or months that aren't particularly bright, and even though we've got some blue sky but the clouds are out today, if we didn't have all the lights on in here, then it would be quite dark. But thanks to this, it's certainly making our job a little bit easier. Now, we haven't put the cushions back on the driver's side, so this is the offside part of the vehicle, and the reason being is because the main drive itself is fitted under here. So hopefully Sammy can see. I'm going to just lift the hatch up here, and in here is where you've got your 12 volt consumer board, where you've got your fuses for all of your 12 volt accessories and solar power and everything else like so. You're going to have your solar charger and other bits and pieces for your 12 volt system. Now, in here, this is where Richard has fitted our drive. Now, our drive is nice and neat, it's out the way, but it's also accessible. It's also got plenty of room to breathe, and it's not going to cause a problem with anything that's already in here, because this is the electrical cupboard as such. So there's our drive there. You've got all the little bits and pieces plugged in from the HDMI, all the cameras, the wired infrared, and also the GPS antenna, and then the hard drive is in here. And once this is switched on, you've got some little lights on the front, and also you've got two front-facing USB ports, and that allows you to download or export your footage is as and when you need it. But that's another video that we're going to do about in-depth use of the 360 system. So that's all the gubbins. Now we're going to turn the system on and show you it working. Right, so we're sat in the front section of the cab here, as you can see, and we're going to just talk about how the system is viewed, how it displays. So we've talked about where the cameras are, where they run to, the box that it's connected to, but now you've got the most important bit. Now, there are other systems out there, not too many, well, none that compare to our system, obviously, but the other systems out there have all got a small 7-inch monitor. This is a 10-inch monitor. It's high definition. It's connected from the drive to the screen with an HDMI cable, and down here we've got our 3 switches. So Richard has fitted these 3 switches. Turn our main power switch on. The main drive sends a signal up to our computer. The computer then starts to boot up, and as it boots up, because it is still what they call a SATA hard drive, it's just a standard computer hard drive in here that will then take about 20-30 seconds for it to boot up. When it does, it then loads the default view of what the 360 provides. So we've got on the left the overview of your vehicle. Now, this isn't just a generic photo. Again, if you've watched our videos before, apologies, but we're very proud of this. This is a shot that our DJI Mavic Pro drone took yesterday up in the air. We grab a picture of the roof of the vehicle, and there's our little Wi-Fi antenna that we've also fitted, and we then put it into the software after it's been cut out using Photoshop to give us this beautifully crystal clear image, and of course then in conjunction with this monitor. There's our little logo there. We've got a little red icon to show that we're recording on the hard drive, and green for satellites, and then the default view is always going to be the rear camera. But even now, hopefully you're able to see this through our digital camera that we're recording from. Look how clean and clear it is compared to probably every other reversing camera out there. For an aftermarket system, this is absolutely brilliant. And the best thing is when you're driving, there's no lag on this system, and we've seen that on many others where you're driving and it's almost jerking as it's keeping up with the frame rate, and that unfortunately is not great when you're driving an expensive vehicle and you need that peace of mind. So 10-inch monitor, always will you have this 70/30 type setup. 30% overview of your the roof of your vehicle and all round it. So if somebody was to walk past now, they might look odd because of how the software stitches the 4 cameras together, but at least you will see them. And you can also see that there are no obstacles, whether that's children, bikes, cars, lampposts, whatever else. And then of course the rear view image is then what we can see. Now, this is the bike rack of the vehicle that's been perfectly tuned in so that we then know that you could reverse up to absolutely anything and not do any damage. Now, if I then press the momentary button, which is down here, and I'm going to press this button once, because when you let go of it, it just goes straight back to its normal position. But on the actual screen itself, look what it does. It gives you full left-hand view of the left camera. The overview is now in the middle of your screen, and on the right hand side we've got some very colourful cars, so that's the right hand side camera. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, these cameras are 180-degree cameras. That's as far as your left and right arm will stretch back sideways. That's 180 degrees. That's how much they can see. So if you want to be able to see all the way down the front of your vehicle and the back of your vehicle, then these cameras are absolutely perfect. Now I'm just going to flick through to the next switch. The next switch is now what the front camera is seeing. Again, front camera is the one that's doing the hardest work. This can see the yellow lines that are in front of us, and if I flick back to the last switch, you're then back on default. Now we've got one other switch here. So this other switch, if Sammy can just grab that, this little on-off switch here is not the on-off for the vehicle, because that's this illuminated one here. But if I flick this switch, what it does is it changes the view that we normally see on the left hand side of the screen, what we call our 30% view, and it puts it full screen landscape. And it's amazing because even though the motorhome is now sideways, when you're maneuvering and you want pinpoint accuracy, then this is the closest thing that you're going to get. But we do lots of research on 360 systems on the market, and most of them manufactured in the Far East do not compare in any way, shape or form with this system. And that's why we are so popular as a company for supplying and fitting this. We've got a lot of happy customers. You only need to read our reviews. So that's that's the landscape view. So we're going to switch back to that. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put the ignition on. And with the ignition on, so the ignition has nothing to do with the 360 system. It's completely independently connected to the leisure battery. But if I'm indicating left, it's going to show the view of the left-hand camera. Now you can see even the left-hand indicator. You can see the left indicator flashing, and at the back here, you can even just make out the rear indicator flashing on the reflection on the vehicle in the background. You can't see the indicator because it's embedded in the rear at the back of the vehicle. But look how hard this camera is working to create this 180-degree view, and that's why it's a fisheye lens. It's curved to give you full protection from left and right. Now also, if you noticed, there's a light sensor built in. So when you're driving at night, this screen will then dim down. And when you're in daylight, it then goes full brightness. So let's go left camera, and that will then flick back, right camera. So this is for when you're at roundabouts or you're at junctions and you want peace of mind knowing that what's on the left hand side or the right hand side is not going to cause a problem. But look at the color saturation we've got here. Got a red car, a blue car, silver car, and a white car all parked outside the unit, and that's again how beautifully clear. You've got the indicator showing here and the back of the vehicle showing here. Let's just turn the indicator off. Now for peace of mind, this is all connected and recorded onto a 1 terabyte hard drive. If you want this system, please get in touch with us. The prices are on our website, but you're more than welcome to fill out a contact form, and you'll be liaising with us here to give you a price and also give you an idea of timescale and any other requirements. Website links in the bio. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for following us, and thank you for supporting us, guys. We do appreciate it, and look forward to the next video.